Hi, and welcome to my first video on Python. Today we'll be talking about what exactly Python is. So Python was made by Guido van Rossum, who is a Dutch programmer, and its first release, 0.9.0, was released in 1991. It was supposed to be a successor to the ABC programming language, which was mainly developed on education instead of actual programming and development and stuff. It was developed with emphasis on code readability, and it was actually named after a TV show called Monty Python's Flying Circus. It was a hobby project to stop boredom for Guido over Christmas vacation, and it was created with Amoeba OS. So here's some features of Python. It's a multi-paradigm coding language. More on that later. It's highly extensible using modules like Pygame and SciPy. It's completely open source and it runs on most operating systems. Like I'm using a Mac right now, but I've used it on Windows. I've not used it on Linux, but I've seen someone use it on Linux. And I know it can run on pretty much every operating system. It's capable of exception handling and is also quite easy to use. So here are some different types of Python. There's CPython, which is written in C. It's the most common. Jython, which is written in Java, compiled to bytecode. IronPython, which is effectuated in C#. Brython, which runs in a browser. RubyPython, which is a bridge between Python and Ruby. PyPy, which is an implementation in Python. And MicroPython, which runs on a microcontroller. So here are some of the paradigms that Python supports. It supports functional programming, imperative programming, object-oriented programming, and procedural programming. So this is the Zen of Python by Tim Peters, who is one of the head developers of Python. This is basically what Python is structured on. It has a couple things like beautiful is better than ugly, explicit is better than implicit, now is better than never, practicality beats purity, stuff like that. So here's some real world uses of Python. So NASA used Python to make the workflow automation system, or the WAS. Google uses Python for various system building tools and APIs, or application programming interfaces. For Facebook, 21% of their total code for Facebook's infrastructure is in Python. And Instagram is built on top of Django, which is a web framework which is coded with Python. So one of the easiest ways to get started here is to go to replit.com and create an account and click create new REPL and make sure that the language selected is Python. This is not the only way, but it's probably the easiest way that I've seen so far. And later on, we'll get into videos on how to download Python in an actual IDE, or which is better than a browser-based system. So that would be all for today. Thank you for watching. I know this was a little bit short, but this is just an introduction. I'll start making longer videos in the future when I start to get into tutorials and talk about other things. Thank you.